Alright, so now we're going to do a paint chip edge fit, essentially jigsaw puzzle. It's only 3 pieces, and that can be a little bit off-putting because while it's only 3 pieces, unlike our glass jigsaw fits, these pieces are textured. They are not completely flat and smooth on their sides. These things have some depth to them, some inconsistencies, some imperfections that can make this actually pretty hard to do, believe it or not. So a lot of times what you have to do is you kind of have to look at it in context. You might need to flip them over. You notice these are actually textured on the side. You can see striations. Maybe the striations line up, things like that. You have to look at the edges. So you can see that has kind of a thicker end and a thinner end. So does this one if you look at it closely. So these are things you're going to want to have to look at. And of course, like in our good old-fashioned glass fit, we had to do a little bit of trial and error. So we're going to give this just a little bit of a go. See what happens. So those look pretty good, right? They look pretty good. And if we look at the edge, I'm just going to spin this around a bit. You can see how like the thicker parts come together. They line up pretty well. If you look at the edge this way, you can see how they almost line. It's really the texture on the bottom that's making them not fit very well. Let's see how this one would fit with it. So if you look here, and we're going to flip these around a little bit more just to get them a little bit more lined up, like so. You can see we have some texture there. You can see right in the middle that kind of bubble or burble that seems to be split in half by the crack. So we can be pretty darn confident those two fit together. Now, how's this one going to fit into it? Well, we've got that big kind of gray textured part on the side. That definitely doesn't look like it's going to match up to either part of those. Let's take a look at some of the other parts. So we've got kind of a curved part here. Doesn't really look like that would really go anywhere, so we can kind of knock that out. This part might work. Let's kind of take a look at the side. So you notice it's kind of thicker in the middle, kind of tapering to the sides. And if we look at our paint chip here, you can see where it lines up and actually connects together. It's kind of thicker in the middle and tapering to the sides. So let's try that. Let's try that one. Move this again, and sorry for my shoddy camera work. This is a lot harder than it looks. You can see that? That lines up pretty well. And if I just very gently, because of the texture on the bottom, lift up the edge of this, which is really hard to do in the camera, you can see, I tilt it, essentially fits perfectly. So this is how you do a paint edge jigsaw fit. Not easy. And the reason I did it so fast is because I practiced for a while before I filmed it. So keep that in mind. Jigsaw fits with paint chips are kind of few and far between. And when you do find one, it's kind of like finding a 4-leaf clover. You're lucky and you've got some good identification characteristic evidence.